State of Texas, as we've been talking about, reaching record low temperatures yesterday after a winter storm, making those roads you look there impassable.
Yeah, now residents are outraged by the complete lack of preparation by state and local officials as millions, up to 4 million, remain without power right now. So the question we're asking, what went wrong?
Joining us now is energy fellow at the University of Houston, Ed Hers. Ed, we thank you so much for joining us here on Wake Up America. We know it's very rough there in Houston. We were talking to a doctor earlier. The Texas power grid getting a lot of its power from the wind and natural gas. But the big question now, of course, is we're talking about renewable energy. What happens when these frigid temperatures take over?
Good morning. This was predictable. We've had cold snaps before. In 2011, the grid was collapsed in many areas across the state. Dallas had a severe blackout over the medical center. And, it's really across the entire grid. And it's a structural problem. The ERCOT market is an energy-only market, electricity-only market. So the generators only make money when they're actually providing power to the grid.
Right.
And so most of them are geared up to go for August and September. After September, a lot of them just go fishing because they're not needed the rest of the year. And so this summer-like spike in power demand in the middle of the winter caught many of them without antifreeze, without having the lines purged, without being able to answer the call when we needed it. And so that's the real challenge. We've spent more than 10 years with a so-called deregulated market, and I just like to call it's differently regulated. What they did was they've been paying these generators less than their cost of providing service. It's a monopsony. They didn't intend to start this way, but they wound up with the exact replica of an old Soviet bureau.
Yeah. Ed, I know that you're an academic, so you're not partisan, and that's part of the reason that we were pleased that you're coming on with us this morning. And that's an important point. The generators are freezing. They're not designed to handle temperatures below 10 degrees, and that's in some cases we've had overnight lows in single digits, which is frightening stuff. But don't we still need coal? I mean, I think the green agenda is fine. Texas is on the forefront of wind energy right now. I think 30% of energy in Texas, somewhere around 30% comes from wind turbines. But we can't force the green energy movement too quickly, right?
Well, coal is unnecessary. This is Texas. This is the heart of hydraulic fracturing. This is the heart of the natural gas industry. And in fact, we've hit all the markers as a nation for the Paris Agreement, just simply because we've been shifting to natural gas and away from coal.
Right.
This is going to be a multi-decade transition for everybody. Electrons aren't blue or red. They don't care who generates them and who throws them out into the grid. And wind, it's certainly an integral part of the grid. But the challenge that we've had, and all the ERCOT data points to it, is that the legacy generation assets weren't able to answer the bell. The natural gas turbines, the coal plants, and then the imbalance across the grid. Getting a summertime day in the middle of the winter, it's not that these guys froze up. I mean, the turbines, the engines, they're all made by GE. They're all made by Cummins. It's the same equipment that you would get in Minnesota, that you would have in Kansas or Buffalo, New York.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, somebody is going to lose their job or could be in a whole lot of trouble today because they didn't buy the de-icing technology on those wind turbines. There's de-icing technology, just like you see on airplanes, which will keep those things spinning. And they overlooked that to save money in Texas because they thought, well, we're largely in a warmer climate down here.
That could be. This post-mortem will drag on for a year and a half.
All right, Ed Hers, thank you so much for joining us. We know it's a big situation there. 1.4 million people in Houston alone without power. We hope you stay warm, stay safe. Thanks for joining us.
And I've been one of them. We've been out of power 25 hours at first run, and I'm kind of lucky to have it today.
My goodness. Ed, are you in Houston, by the way?
Yes.
So you're very fortunate. We just got updated numbers. It's almost 1.5 million people that are without power in Houston, Texas, the largest city in the state.
It's ridiculous.
Well, stay indoors, stay warm, and I think at the very least, this is a reality check for green energy. Would you agree?
No, it's a reality check for the way the market was structured.
Yeah.
This market was structured to fail from the very beginning, and this goes on to the legislature and the governor to fix it.